morning to you. It is Narelle from narelleshield.com, and today I want to talk about decision making, and in particular the concept of our why. Um, when we do things, and you might have heard leadership expert Simon Sinek talk about this concept of why. Our why is what really drives us and drives our connection to what it is we're doing and the outcomes that we're trying to achieve. And without a clear and consistent why in your life, whether it's around your career or something that you're doing as a hobby or a passion, it's really hard to feel connected to it and continue with it, particularly when times get a bit tricky. And so when we talk about decision making, sorry about that, that was my phone just dinging. When we talk about this whole idea of decision making in the context of our why, I always encourage people, and I bang on so much about decision making because it's so important, and that is to consider your head, your heart, and your intuition. Okay? And healing your inner verse is really, really important for this to be successful. So at head level, we can logically decide that we want to do something because it ticks these boxes and on paper it looks great. Fantastic. And that's great if emotionally our heart agrees. So if our head and our heart agree, that's actually a big part of the battle won, right? Because I don't know about you, but if you've ever had that experience when your head and your heart don't agree, it can feel very conflicted and just icky and yucky, and you don't know what to do. And for a lot of people, the head wins because logic seems to rule the world as it currently is, and it is more highly valued, even though that's not necessarily correct. That's how things are at the moment. So for a lot of people, their head will rule the roost. And if their heart's on the same page and they feel the same way as what their logic is telling them, that's great. And if they don't, it's a conflicted decision. Well, then you throw in the third factor, and I actually believe the most important one, and that is what our intuition or our gut tells us. Now, quite often, this is sort of our soul's wisdom coming through our body, telling us what is right for us and what is wrong for us and what would be the better direction to go. Um, and it's really, really hard when you've got a murky universe and you're not clear on who you are and you've got unhealed and unresolved hurts, particularly emotional hurts, in your system, to discern the difference between intuition and prejudice or bias and your own head getting involved in the process under the guise of it being intuition. Okay. And this is a really, really hard one to discern. And what I often do is suggest to people they get all of their head stuff out first, get the heart stuff out second, and leave the gut feeling stuff till last. And because the logic behind that is that hopefully the head and heart stuff you've got out of your system before logic gets the opportunity to kick in. So your head's had its opportunity to speak. To connect in with your intuition, um, you know, finding stillness and finding peace is a really, really good way to do that. And a lot of practitioners and coaches talk about meditation, and I do as well for this very, very reason. And that is to be able to connect with yourself and know what that feels like. Because if you don't know what your intuition feels like and sounds like and comes across as, it is really, really hard to discern what's intuition and what's not. So in the process of making your decisions, just to recap, check in with your head, see what that's got to say. Check in with your heart, see how you feel, and check in with your gut and see what you intuit. And then, you might come up with a number of options for the decision that you're making and run each option through those same filters. And it may not be that the part of you that screams loudest is actually the best decision or the best way forward. But if you've got a few options and you can run them through those three filters, you'll be in a better position to make holistic decisions and make decisions that work as best as possible for you and are aligned with who you are. And that's why it's important to listen to your intuition and soul, because they're the decisions that align with who you are at a soul level. You see, our head decisions tend to be reflective of our own internal scripts, drivers, biases, prejudice, learning, studies, and those types of things. Our heart decisions do tend to be impacted by our previous hurts and unresolved grievances. Our soul doesn't have those issues to contend with. It just speaks purely from a place of who we are and what's most aligned with us. And that's why it's so very, very important to pay attention. So I hope that's helped with your decision making process and coming to your why, because I think it's really important that we know and decide what our why is in life, in business, in our careers, in our hobbies, in play, in our relationships. It's all really important to know why we're there and why we're doing what we're doing. And being able to connect with your soul gives you the most aligned possible why to what you're here to do and your purpose in life, as you can get. It's as close as you can get. So, anyway, with that, I'm going to go. Have a great day. Bye.